Here's a MeteoMark weather update here for April 26, 2013. Let's take a look at some of the pictures here that we've sent in across much of the nation here. We have Lucas D. from Linden, Texas. As always, beautiful photos. Look at this nice sun with some cirrus. These high crystallized clouds create a very vivid effect. Look at that. Nicely captured, Lucas. Thank you. And here we've got a very nice photo here. I believe this is a butterfly, and some nice foliage here. And we got some really nice, these are springtime photos for sure. Got some sun coming through some very dark clouds. Very beautiful. And of course you can see the leaves on the trees. And here we got, look at the cloud structure on this. You can actually see the rays of sun coming. The sun is behind this big dark cloud here, and you can see the rays of sun coming down behind the cloud. This is really good Texas clouds formations at its best. Look at that. That's beautiful. We take a look at some of the foliage. Look at that. Look how thick this is, and you got the blue jay right in the center here. A lot of blue jays down there. Very nice. Nice cloud structure here. You got a little bit of blue sky with some really nice colored clouds here around here. And now you've got some really nice clouds here. Sun shining through, and some very big cumulonimbus clouds, it looks like, with a blue sky and a backdrop and a foreground of some nice foliage. And to finish it off, look at this nice sunset. Thank you, Lucas. Look at that. Beautiful sunset coming through the foliage. Nice oranges. Beautiful Texas sunset from Linden, Texas. Thank you, Lucas. We're heading on to a question here that I received recently, and I do want to cover it quickly here. And it's by Jason Schuller, and it has to do with the 12Z GFS, the 500 to 1000 millibar overlay. And here's what we've got going here. You can see here is the overlay, and it has to do with across. This is later on in the period. This is about between 105 hours and 125 hours. We got a double barrel low pressure system, one over Alberta and Manitoba, Canada, and the other one around the Dakotas area. And there's a lot of energy associated with this. And these two lows will be coming together, one ejecting out over the Rocky Mountains, and the other ejecting across southern Canada here from British Columbia. And that's where we'll have, let's look at the scenario here. This is what we have here. We have the jet stream diving. We have the first jet stream diving down across the Rockies here, and a second jet stream diving down. This is almost like a wintertime scenario here across the northern plains, and this is of course off my forecast grid. Usually I do 4-day forecast. This is day 5, day 6. This would be Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Late Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday next week. You can see the jet streams diving down across the northern plains here, and this is where we get the spin up of these low pressure systems. And I'm going to show you potential vorticity at 500 millibars to show you the energy associated with this system. And these are going to come together to produce quite a rainstorm and windstorm across the northern plains next week, as well as a snowstorm across southern provinces of Canada and some of the Rocky Mountain regions. And it's really interesting because this storm really winds up to 996 millibars, pretty strong for this time of year, for the north central plains, the northern Rockies, and heading up into the plain states. There you have it. That's the scenario we're looking at. And if we take a look at the potential vorticity here, I have the potential vorticity overlay, and you can see, of course, the first couple frames here, we actually have the first system across the southeast here, and this first system is heading out across the southeast. And this is where we'll get some a good deal of spin up here as far as precipitation, and you can see across the central southern states here. But as we head on later in the forecast period here, this is where we get into some problems with, as you can see here, here we go, the first overlay here. We have this system. You see these oranges and reds across the northern plains that eject out across. This vorticity, this is energy associated with the storms, and you can actually see the formation of the jet stream across the northern plain states. So very, very, very well defined as far as the jet stream is concerned. And of course, the digging will be very pronounced, and of course, models aren't really accurate after about 135 hours, so whatever happens after it reaches the western Great Lakes remains to be seen. But that is what we're looking at right now at the moment. We're not looking too far beyond that, but across the northern plains. I hope that answers your question, Jason, across the northern plains here. We'll continue to watch that because that will be an area of interest next week. For the next 4 days, it's going to be very boring. Here is the scenario setup. QPF across much of the nation will be mainly confined here to the north central Georgia, mountains here, Alabama, and extending over towards Arkansas, down towards Louisiana, and South Texas. This is where we'll see a lion's share of the QPF. And we're heading to the scenario of this system. Low pressure will continue to wind up across these just south of the Ozarks and move northeast, and this warm front will extend out across the southern states here as this low pressure continues to move across the southeast. But eventually, later on in the weekend, it will weaken and fizzle out. It will not make it to the mid-Atlantic or the northeast for that matter. So we're heading on into temperatures across the nation. We're going to look at reinforcing shot of cold air across eastern Canada, but it will warm up across the northeast here. Here's where we'll see some temperatures being held down by clouds and rain across the central Appalachians down into the southern states, but that will quickly warm up as we see all this warm air from the west will continue to move towards the plain stage, and we'll actually see some 70s up in the Minneapolis area later on in the weekend, extending all the way down eastern towards Chicago and eventually off towards the Ohio Valley here. So we're going to see a lot of warm weather branching off across the country. And that's what we're looking at for temperatures at the moment. Well, we won't see that reinforcing shot of major cold air until that system that I mentioned that Jason had the question about. So that's what we're looking at. Like me on Facebook at MeteoMark. Subscribe to me on YouTube at MeteoMark.com. My website is MeteoMark.com. If you have a question, it's best to reach me at that Facebook page at MeteoMark. You can ask your questions, send your pictures or your videos, or whatever that is. Here's a 4-day forecast for my hometown viewers from Binghamton to Elmira in the northern tier counties of Pennsylvania. We got this extended forecast here. This is Saturday and Sunday, looking fairly nice across the region. Crystal clear skies. The warmer day is Saturday. It's almost near in the low 70s, and we'll start off cold though. Possible frost in the low 30s. Upper 20s in some of the colder valleys. We head on to Sunday. This is where we get a little bit cooler air, not much cooler, 66. Monday we head on a little cooler. We're going to barely make it above 60 on Monday with that backdoor cold front moving in. And then on Tuesday we get even a little bit more scattered showers. We will have some scattered showers both Monday and Tuesday with some of that instability crossing the Great Lakes, and we have a little bit of a trough developing for that matter. But at least overnight lows will prompt actual not developing of frost. That's going to do it for MeteoMark.